Okay, so because of illness, we didn't get to meet, but this is the worksheet you're supposed to work on. You're supposed to do 2 of these for homework, and then we're going to go over them in class, and hopefully you would get review on that day of what you did plus the other one that you didn't, because somebody would have done that one unless you all did the first 2. I'm just going to do these for you. Pretend this is a class. Go over your homework and see if you did it correctly, and then take it one step further and said, what is the thing that I'm not getting right? If there is something you're not getting right. Okay. So let's start right here. We got a 2 half diminished 6/5. In other words, a 2 chord with the 7th and with 3rd in the bass right here. And make sure I did this right. In the key of G minor, that would be an A diminished half diminished 7. So A, C, E flat, G. It's all right there. We're going to a 5/7, and then we're going to a 1. So you treat this root 3rd, 5th, 7th, and root not in the bass, right? Same as if we're going 5 to 1, right? And remember that probably the 7th is holding over and grabbing the 7th, unless it's written where it doesn't, like right there. Okay, so that means the 5th, the queen, is either going to skip down, or the uncle, which would normally hold over wherever he is, will normally skip up to cover when the princess, the 3rd, doesn't hold over. Okay, so 3rd of the chord did not hold over, so it doesn't grab the 7th. So it's going to be the 5th of the chord or the root not in the bass. It's going to grab the 7th. All right, so we have to make a choice right here. If this is our root right here, and that's the uncle, which would normally hold over, it's either going to skip up and grab the 7th, or it's going to just hold over, and then the 5th of the chord is going to grab the 7th. And I think just to make it easy, we're going to do that. Okay, 3rd goes up, 5th holds over. That means the, or sorry, 7th root of holds over means the 5th of the chord right here, the queen, that would be the E flat, is going to not step down to the root, but skip down past the root to the 7th. Normally it would go right there, but we have to grab the 7th. So that's right there. And then Prince goes to there. Check yourself. Did you remember to put a sharp right there? Because you need to, because it's minor, right? Now we have a 5/7 chord. We can just resolve it. This one has to be done strictly because the 3rd of the chord T is in the top voice. It's not got an ability to be freely resolved, right? So root to root, 5th steps down, 7th steps down, and 3rd princess has to step up like that, right? So again, check to make sure. Now you may have done this where it went up to the C, and if that's the case, if this is on the C right there, then this would have stepped down to the D. So here's your alternative way. These 2 notes could have been there and there. Okay, and if that happened, then they would resolve differently over here, because then that would have just held over. This would have come down like that, right? And we would not have we'd have a more complete chord over here. All right, B major, 5/7, going into a 7 half diminished 6/5, going into a 1. This is actually really easy to start, and then we just have to resolve using step up and everything step down, right, against the bass. So if we look here, this is a B. I'm going to spell this out for you. B, D sharp, F sharp, A. And this one right here is really close to that. It's going to be B, sorry, no B, D sharp, F sharp, A, and then it's going to have a C sharp. In other words, they're almost the same, right? Almost the same. There's going to be a lot of common tones held over. So let's just start here and say, well, if this is a 6/5, that means the F sharp is going to be the lowest note. You can go down or up to it. I'm just going to go to right there, F sharp, right? So that's there like that. And then let's look at all the other notes that I need. I'm going to need a D sharp, got that. I'm going to need an A right there, which could be there because it's held over. That means that this one would have to skip down or up to the C sharp, which is a spacing problem, okay? So given that, this one's going to have to go to the A probably there, and this one's going to have to go up to C sharp. Otherwise, we get spacing. Let me show you what I mean by that. If we just did this right here, if that held over to the A And then this was remaining going to the C sharp. Well, the C sharp here makes us have more than an octave there. And if I put the C sharp up there, then it's way more than an octave there. So because of spacing, you can't do smooth like that. You're going to have to juggle these things. So this will have to come up to the A because of spacing. And then this will have to come up to the C sharp. Again, preserve all the notes we need plus C sharp. So D sharp, F sharp, A, and C sharp. Key signature. Now when we resolve this, remember that you can go, well, it's an inversion. So let's just see how this goes. This chord here is going to be an E, a G sharp, and a B. Remember that when we resolve the third and the fifth of this chord, if it's third below and fifth above, or seventh above, sorry, then that makes a fifth. It could be parallel fifths, but we'll see how that goes. So this is going to go down to my E, like that. And this is a perfect fifth right here. And if I bring this down to the B as well, that's going to be a parallel perfect fifth, right? So we're going to have to switch things up a bit. What happens if I take this up to the E right there like that? Okay, and then I resolve these guys. I'm going to need a G sharp, which I think is right there like that. Makes sense. My spacing is good, and I have my roots in my thirds. So technically speaking, this note could go up or down. It doesn't really matter. You could go up to the E, I think, or it could come down to the B like that. If I go up to the E, it's by step, and this is step in the opposite direction. This is by step and by skip, and this is opposite direction. It's fine. Depends on which one you like. I'm going to stick with the B right there, just so I have a complete chord. Okay. Last one of these. Okay. So I'm in the key of F minor, and I'm going 4 to a 7 to a 1. Because 4 is a fifth above 7, we might be able to just use like, like connect these using like 5 to 1 kind of technology. We'll have to see, right? And then this we're going to have to just resolve either strictly or freely. We'll see how that goes. So F chord is B flat, D, and F. This is going to be an E, G, B flat, and D flat, although it's in the key signature, and that's already been done with the E natural right there. So I think we're good to go. Let's talk about, see if we can do like common tone, because 5 to 1, we'd look for common tone. 4 to 7, we can look for common tone, or something similar to that. So like root to root, common tone holds over, like that, right? And then these guys move by step in the opposite direction, or sorry, in the same direction, right? So this would go up to there, like that, to the G, right? G flat, sorry. Or G, sorry. And now this would step up, right, to there, and that's common tone, and it worked just fine, except we have to have a D flat. And so in this case, this is the, right, the third of the chord, it doesn't step up, it just holds over instead, because we have to adjust for having extra notes, not triad to triad. Okay, now that we're here, remember that the root and the fifth makes a diminished fifth, which we could close in, and the third and the seventh make a diminished fifth, which we can close in. Or if we want, we can just move this up and have everything come down opposite because it's by step, right? So if we want that, we would be looking at the E and the B flat right there, and they would collapse in. And then this would be the G, which is the third, be below. And instead of collapsing in, this is going to go up and this is going to go down. Or we can just say, everything's going opposite the bass, right? I think that's what I want to do here. So I'm going to an F chord, this B flat is going to come down to the A flat, this D flat is going to come to the C, and this is going to come to the F, like that, right? If we wanted to do strict like this, then that would have come up to the A flat right there, but we don't need to do that. And I guess these don't need stems either because it's whole notes. All right, there you go. You can see that your options as we get into this territory are more varied than if we had just a formula, right? Or just a formula plus one exception. You have to look and check out spacing, spelling. You have to think about if you have a root and third of the chord, if you've got a tritone, right, diminished fifth, that you want to resolve strictly or not. We're still heralding back to formulas, right? But we have to make adjustments to the formula because we have extra notes, right? Okay, and that's that. In the next video, we will talk about your next chapter of other seventh chords, and we'll start moving towards the end of the term in terms of textbook curriculum.